Just popped on here a little early so we can see folks starting to stream into our workshop. Yay! All right. There's something about living on Gabriola where we're either a little too late or a lot too early. And I'm kind of going with the a lot too early thing. I'm still learning how to use this program that I have been blessed with, and I'm really enjoying it so far. So really thrilled for you folks to join me. We're just going to take a few moments and we'll get started a couple of minutes after 2 o'clock. So grab yourself some water, stay hydrated. There's a sleeping wiener dog in the background there. Very cute. Yeah. Go make sure my chat is available for when folks ask questions. Just making some final adjustments before we get started. Clicking around on my computer screen. I take a couple deep breaths because I'm feeling a little nervous. And that's okay. I've got a song in my head. It's a good one. I like having good songs in my head. What's that song, Tina, you ask? The song I have in my head is I Wish by Stevie Wonder. It's a great tune. Played that the other night at the Queen's with Wonder Bread. It was so fun. Ha ha ha. All right, it is almost 2 o'clock. See little Bella sleeping over there. Hopefully she sleeps through the whole workshop. She tends to do some barking. She likes to sing along. Oh, funny. Well, it's officially 2 o'clock. If you are tuning in live, I see a few folks are tuning in live, so welcome. Feel free to if this is the right direction. Go to the chat and type in, say hi. If you have anything that's burning as a question that you might want to ask, feel free to type into the chat anytime. That's one of the cool things about using Facebook Live is you can contribute, but you don't have to look at your own, your own video, your own face, as what happens with Zoom. I find YouTube to be a lot better quality as well. So that's why we chose to use YouTube for this online Find Your Voice workshop, 2-part. So I'm just going to get started. I'm excited. I'm really pumped to do this. I've been excited about this for a long time. Before we even get into the singing part, I wanted to send a special thanks to the Nanaimo Foundation for their generous grant as part of their neighborhood small grants to put this on. So it allowed for me to upgrade some of my hardware, some great stuff that I've been needing to do for some time. And it allows me to start making this content available for folks in this strange time where we do a lot of stuff in front of a screen. But one day we're going to sing together again, and it is slowly starting to happen, which is great. So I see a few more folks, their eyeballs on the screen, which is fantastic. I'm so glad you're joining. I'm so glad you're tuning in. We're going to just pause for about 2 more minutes while folks pop on to the live stream. If you haven't already, grab yourself some water because we have to stay hydrated. That's one of the most important things that we need to do as singers because, hey, these little bodies are our instruments. So if you don't already, pop over to the kitchen, grab yourself some water and have a few sips and have it nearby because in this workshop, we're going to be maybe moving some air around, and sometimes it brings a little bit more awareness to the body where we decide or we find out that we need to be a little bit better hydrated. All right. Okay, we're a couple minutes in. I think we should get started. Again, I just wanted to say a quick thank you to the Nanaimo Foundation for funding this with their Neighborhood Small Grants Program. It was a real honor to be the recipient of that grant, which makes this little workshop happen. So now that we've got that out of the way, my name is Tina Jones. Hi, everybody. If you're just arriving, feel free to pop your name and say hi in the chat. I think it's over there. It might be over there. I don't know. My camera does a sort of a flippy thing, which is a bit, it's a bit confusing to say the least. Feel free to join in the chat if you want. If not, that's okay too. This will also be rebroadcasted. So if there are parts of it that you just miss, or if you're only able to make a little bit of today's workshop, you can tune in again for all of eternity because this will be on the interwebs forever. Okay, everyone. First of all, I just wanted to acknowledge that I live and work on the unceded territory of the Nanaimo First Nation. I live on Gabriola Island. It's a beautiful fall day here, and I'm just thrilled to get the chance to do what I love in this beautiful space, in this beautiful place, surrounded by nature. And this is my living room. I got myself flowers. It's a wonderful thing to do for yourself. And hey, you all are here watching either live or in the rebroadcast, and you're doing this for yourself too, which is a wonderful thing. So give yourself a little moment of gratitude for showing up and doing something for yourself here, where we're going to learn about finding our voice. Okay, so first of all, let's do a few little breathing exercises, mostly just to get centered, get into our bodies a little bit. So first of all, we're going to take a few deep breaths, just in and out through the nose. No biggie. If you feel more comfortable in through the nose, out through the mouth, that's fine too. In and out through the mouth, that's fine too. So what I like to do is in and out through the nose, just for the first little bit of breathing exercises. Okay, so nice deep breath, in and out through the nose. And there I went out through the mouth. Okay, and just do that a few times. Are there any aspects of body awareness that you're noticing? I'm noticing that I'm feeling a little bit nervous because this is the first time that I've done a live stream like this. And I'm thrilled that some of y'all are tuning in live. I'm also noticing that I can feel my heartbeat. Does anybody else feel your heartbeat? Sometimes I feel when I do deep breathing exercises, it increases the rate of my heartbeat. And I think the reason for that is because as we breathe in, our lungs expand, waking up little parts of our lungs, the cilia, that are kind of sleepy. If we take these deep breaths, we end up oxygenating our bodies in a way that goes a little deeper than just like the shallow breathing that we normally do from day to day. And as people on this planet, we tend to only really use about 20% of the capacity of our lungs. So, hey, guess what? There's more that you can access. And oxygenating your body feels so darn good. Okay, a couple more deep breaths. This time, when you breathe in, let's see if we can make our out breath a little bit longer than the in breath. Okay, try that with me all together. Here we go. And sometimes you can count it out. So if we count in for 3 and out for 4, let's try that. 2, 3, and out. 2, 3, 4, in. 2, 3, out. 2, 3, 4. So the idea of letting your out breath be a little bit longer than your in breath helps us to take our bodies into what's called the parasympathetic nervous system. The parasympathetic nervous system is this nervous system state that allows us to be a little more creative. It takes us out of that fight or flight state, which is the sympathetic nervous system. And if we're in the fight or flight state, our body is really concentrating on survival. And it's hard to really bring in creativity and body awareness and fun and playfulness if we're a little bit, stuck in that kind of old limbic brain of ours. So let's do a couple more breathing exercises. Nice deep breath in through the nose and long, slow breath out. One more. Okay, anybody noticing some lightheadedness? That happens to me sometimes. And so when our body becomes a bit more oxygenated with the oxygen that we're feeding our lungs by taking these deeper breaths, we get a little bit of head rush to the brain. And I think that's an okay thing. Like our brains can always use a bit more oxygen. All right, okay, a couple more breathing exercises. Just to bring some awareness into the body, because as in my 30 years of teaching singing lessons, I've also taught trumpet lessons and banjo lessons. I've also taken trumpet lessons, banjo lessons, and there's a big difference between learning an instrument that you can sort of have your hands on and an instrument such as the voice. So obviously any kind of instrument that we pick up, be it the voice or a stringed instrument or a wind instrument or a percussion instrument, there's a body awareness that comes with that. But there's something a little bit deeper with the voice because it's actually our bodies. Our bodies are our instrument, which is actually, I think, is a kind of a fun thing. We can make our bodies be this vehicle for expression. And my aim with this little 2-day workshop, 2-part workshop, is to bring some awareness around body and the systems that make our voices happen. And then as we can tap into some of that body awareness, shine the light of awareness on the body, we then can translate that to singing a little bit more expressively with ease. And that is my bottom line. I love to sing expressively and I don't want to work too hard. Oh, it's so lovely. We're having a few folks pop in the chat. Trina, hi Trina, oh yay, I'm glad you joined. And Kat, oh yay, this is so cool. Thanks for joining and thanks for saying hello. Feel free at any time to pop anything into the chat. If you have any questions, there's no such thing as a stupid question. Anything goes. And again, we're going to be reposting this video. So if there's anything you feel you missed, or if you can't make the whole thing, it will be available time immemorial. Okay, so back to the body. So what we want to do is we want to create this beautiful, relaxed body, this relaxed instrument. It starts with feeling grounded, feet on the floor. I'm on a chair right now. Ideally, the best thing to do to sing is to be standing up. Like when I perform, I almost never perform sitting down. I'm not sure if I ever have, actually, now that I think about it. It's just really weird and uncomfortable. However, when I'm practicing, it's just a little bit more comfortable to sit, or when I'm teaching lessons, or if I'm working on some tunes. I like to sit on the edge of my chair. So if I've got my chair here, I'm not at the back, because when I'm at the back, see what happens? Get my hair out of the way. We don't have this, have this not a great system of flowing air. We want a really lovely system of flowing air. So if I shift to the front of my chair, and you can see, I've got all of a sudden this nice straight back, this beautiful exit area for all this air that we want to move to make our body work. So on the edge of your chair, if you can, if it's comfortable, feet flat on the ground. And we don't want to be, well, you can't even see this, but we don't want to be having our legs crossed either. Legs crossed, I mean, that's a comfortable thing, but you can be a little bit more comfy later. Okay, so feet on the floor and butt at the edge of the seat, so that we have this real sense of being grounded. We have a foundational element to our body. If there are other folks who play instruments in the audience today, a lot of what happens when you first learn an instrument, or first bring awareness to learning instruments, is holding it correctly. So we want to hold our bodies correctly. We want to hold our bodies in a way that allows for the most airflow, the most resonation of aspects of our bodies, and the most relaxation. I mean, there's going to be a balance between some resistance, because that's part of having a body on this planet, being a human on the planet. Okay, so now that we have our butt at the edge of our seats, we have our feet flat on the ground. Do you feel the ground underneath your feet? I do. I have my indoor Birkenstock sandals with socks on, because I'm on an island, peace and love. And I also can feel the sense of the weight of my body on the chair. So it's going to have a nice balance between the chair and my feet on the floor. And then it also creates this beautiful, tall, straight spine. And we want that. We want a nice, tall, straight spine. So if we can, and then we want to have nice, relaxed shoulders. Relaxed shoulders is so important when we're singing, because a lot of time when people do breathing exercises, this is what happens. They go, no, we don't want that. We want to have a nice, relaxed sort of sense of breathing in. And the movement happens in our chest area. Okay, take a couple deep breaths with me again. Here we go. See if you can bring some awareness to the expansion of the rib cage, and then condensing when we breathe out. Expanding, breathing in. Contracting or condensing, breathing out. This next breath, I want you to imagine that when we bring that beautiful deep breath into the rib cage, that we keep that rib cage expanded, even when we're breathing out. Okay, this is a really interesting way of bringing some awareness to parts of the body, parts of our instrument. Okay, so nice deep breath. Here we go. Keeping that rib cage expanded. Still breathe out. And if you need to do that, that's fine. So we end up kind of getting this accordion thing happening with our bodies. Try that again. Just bringing some awareness. There's no way you can do this wrong. Okay, nice deep breath. Expansion, but keep it expanded. Breathing out, and then eventually you have to go. Now I wonder if there are spots in the body that you feel that. So as we take that deep breath in, I'm just going to move up a little bit. So our rib cage expands, and as we breathe out, this goes in right here. And guess what? That's our diaphragm. That is this beautiful, huge bowl-shaped muscle that exists right underneath where the rib cage stops, and where the rib cage protects all these beautiful organs on the inside. And also the diaphragm is this beautiful, massively large muscle that is responsible for expanding to bring air into the lungs and contracting to push air out of the lungs. Ooh, says Kat. So if we can kind of gain some awareness of that diaphragm area, then that is part of our foundational element. Then we can start to build upon that. So we're going to do a couple more breathing exercises, and then we're going to get to singing. Okay, so same exercise, but this time I want you to imagine that you've got a straw and you're blowing out of the straw. So what we're doing is we're creating a tiny bit of resistance. So, and if it helps you to go like that, that's fine. Or you can make a sound that that's kind of creates some resistance in the throat by going, that's fine too. I like the straw because then what happens is we really notice a difference, a contrast between the no resistance when we go, that's no resistance, and then going, and all of a sudden we have all this area of air in the lungs. And because we've created that little bit of resistance, then we have this gorgeous way of sort of letting it out slowly and intentionally. So intention is really big when we're singing. So let's try that a few times, blowing out through a straw, a pretend straw. Okay, nice deep breath in. Here we go. Keeping the ribcage expanded, blowing out through your straw. See if you can feel that diaphragm. And if you have to condense the lungs now, that's okay too. And now relax. And as you relax, all of a sudden, air comes into your lungs. So we are tapping into this whole new reservoir of air capacity in our lungs, which is really, it's the powerhouse, the reason that we can make our voices sound by moving air through the vocal cords. That takes us to our next spot. So everybody put your hands on your throat and just do a little, do some silly little humming. Can you feel vibration there? Hopefully you're feeling a little bit of vibration. And as you sort of change the pitch by going, go low, high, you can kind of feel things moving up and down on the inside of your larynx area. And that's perfectly fine. We have tendons that hold the larynx in place. Also, pardon me, as we, if you swallow, keep your hand on your neck and do a little quick swallow. What happens is it gets right out of the way and then opens up again. Now, as a contrast, I really like contrast. So now keep your hands on your voice box, your larynx, and do a nice big yawn. Do you feel how open that is? It drops down and it creates this really round, kind of like a vase feeling of our bodies. There you go. Okay, so if you're cluing into some of these aspects of our instrument, our bodies as an instrument, we have these areas, I like to call them resonating bodies, within our body. So the lungs, obviously, are a resonating body. That's where literally air comes and goes from. But we also have these other areas in our body, our throat. If we have a nice open throat, almost like a yawning way of singing, that allows for a little bit more ease. Remember, we talked about singing expressively with ease. If we can tap into these resonating bodies, we can really start to use these big aspects for vibration and resonance. It's really simple, but it's kind of weird at first. So just bear with me. And if you need to, take a little sip of water. All right. Resonating bodies. We have that beautiful voice box. Anybody think of any other resonating bodies? And how many of us were in choir as youngsters, and then the choir instructor would always be like, open up, kind of annoying after a while. But your choir director, as a young one, they had a reason for that. Because if we're singing la, and we're not singing with these resonating bodies activated, let's say we have bad posture, then we're not going to be projecting as much. ah. Hear the difference? All of a sudden, it's a little bit more round, a little bit more bright. I didn't turn up the volume. I didn't sing ah louder. All I did was just add these little resonating bodies with this tall sort of sense of our instrument being set up in a way that supports all the resonation possible. Okay, so there's also many other aspects of resonating bodies. So we talked about that idea of a yawn in the throat, and then obviously in the face, in the mouth, as we drop that jaw, and we just let the air come out when we sing. And we're going to actually make some singing noises in a moment. We also have all sorts of other areas that we want to engage as well. We're going to get to those as we start singing. But I just want to reiterate that it's important to just really remain relaxed with this stuff. I'm going to keep on reminding you of that. Okay, so we are going to, ta-da, we are going to do some singing. I'm really excited. I'm excited to see y'all, some of y'all here in the live. And I welcome to everybody who tunes in after the fact as well. And if you wanted to come and watch this again, it'll be available for you. All right, this is my keyboard. My disclaimer, I'm not much of a keyboard player. I just use the keyboard as a pitch reference. So I plunk down a note and I go, ah. How about you try that with me? Let's use the vowel me. Can you hear that? Can you hear that in your head? Me. And we want to almost be like a frog jumping on the lily pad. Me. So what we want to avoid is me. We want me. Okay. Some of these things are so simple, yet some people, when I do voice lessons one-on-one, people kind of go, oh, I never even thought about that. So many of these aspects. So in my almost 30 years of teaching, these are the things that have helped me along the way and helped so many other folks sort of achieve their goals and learn how to sing a lot more expressively with more relaxation and ease. The first exercise we're going to do and explore some of these concepts is one, it's just very simple, what's called a triad, and it sounds like this. Me, me, me. And did you notice right before I was about to sing, so I'm going to count us off, let's say I go 1, 2, 3, me, me, like that. I breathe right before I'm about to sing. And it's not that I take a huge breath, although sometimes I've been known to do that, being a trumpet player. This idea that we want to feel this sort of flow. We want to tap into the flow of the air coming in and out, and like I said, with as much ease and relaxation as possible. So I'm going to start singing, and then we're going to move up. It's a real fun exercise to just get the blood flowing, get the air moving, and just sort of getting some vibration happening in the body, which is our instrument. 2, 3, and me, me, me. Join in. Me, me, me. 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 Beautiful. Yes. I hope that you are all singing along. And I wanted to quickly stop right there because sometimes, depending on where our voices feel comfy or where they sit in our bodies, that top note, me, might feel like it's getting a little bit high. And that's okay. Here are a few tips to get past that. So as we have been moving up, you can sing along with me now for a moment. And here's one tip is just in the beginning, as we go through these exercises, just keep the air moving. And if you have to, just soften up a little bit. So if I'm going, me, 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 just soften. Me, 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 keep going. Me, 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 me. Taking a break here. I'm going to go back to where we stopped at that last moment. So that's tip one for this. They're getting into doing some singing. If it feels like it's getting a little bit high and a little bit, feeling like there's a bit tension, soften up a little bit in these exercises. We don't want to push it, especially at the beginning. So if there's ever any kind of like little bits of tension that come in, or if you're kind of wondering, feel free to pop anything into the chat. If it's over there, I'm not sure if it's over there. If you're saying, hey, I'm noticing that it feels dry in my throat, or I'm noticing that there's, some tension in my throat, or I feel like I can't relax my shoulders, feel free to pop that in the chat, or even just send me a message afterwards, and we can discuss it. All right. So tip number 2, if this is starting to feel a little bit high, so if we're getting me, me, I don't know if I can do this one, me, me, then we can what's called go down the octave. So if instead of singing me, me, I might go me, me. It's a little low for me, but some folks have a much lower voice. Some of us are going to find the higher pitch notes super easy. Some of us are going to have issues with it, and we're all different, and that's the most important thing. We are all different instruments. I might bring out a banjo later on and use it as an example. All right, so let us start, and we're going to be starting from middle C, going up from there, just in case for you keyboard players out there. Me, me, moving up, and let's just see how high we can go, just for the heck of it. And again, if it's a little challenging, or if you're feeling any tension or a little bit of resistance in the body somewhere, that's okay. Just soften up a little bit or sing it down an octave, okay? So I'm going to just stay on the octave that I'm playing and go up gradually. The nice thing about going up gradually is that we can kind of just inch our way to find out where our comfort zone is. And then later on, we can start kind of pushing that comfort zone. Not too hard though. Just finding the edges and maybe looking over the edge. All right. Ready, 2, 3, and me, me, me. Me, me, me. Soften if you need to. Me, me, me. Me, me, me. Move that air. Me, me, me. Me, me, me. A few more. Me, me, me. Me, me, me. Okay, everybody, let's take a nice deep sigh like I just did all together. So deep breath. I find doing a sigh like that can really sort of reset things in the vocal cords. Because sometimes when we get a little thinky about this stuff, when we talk a lot about it, we can kind of get a little nebulous in the brain. What we want to do is bring it into the body. We want to embody some of these ideas and aspects so that we can feel what's happening rather than thinking about what's happening. Because if we can feel it, then we can tap into the more expressive aspects of being a vocalist, being a singer, singing a song, and evoking some emotion, which is really the ultimate goal. Don't you think? I think so. Okay, I'm just going to check my notes here while we take a little break. We're on track. Yay. Okay, so if we got up to that note up there, me, me, did we get that high, really? Holy moly. That's a high note. It's rare that we're going to find that note in a song. Sometimes, here and there. But really, we've covered, as gal singers, or people in this sort of range, like sort of the alto-y, soprano-y range, you're not going to sing much higher than that E flat. All right, so if we went there, I would like to go down an octave. Me, me, me. Do you hear the difference there? Me, 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 and me, me, me. Same notes, just an octave away. And when we say octave, that means there's 8 notes in what's called a major scale. So if we go, some people might use do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do, or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. But the last note, 8, is the same as the first note. So sometimes we might say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1. Whoops. Okay, so we're going down an octave from where we stopped, and then we're going to move this exercise down. So this is what it sounds like. Me, me, me. Me, me, me. You get the picture. Me, me, me. And those of you who have a deeper voice, this is where you get to shine, because we're going to investigate that basement area of the voice. Okay, so singing that note, can you hear it in your head? Moving down with this, same mia, 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 mia. This same exercise, and just sort of feeling this sense of where the vibration. See if you can notice where vibration happens in your body. Just noticing. There's no way you can do this wrong. Ready? 1, 2, here we go. Mia, mia, me. 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 Ha! Mia, mia, me. One more. Mia, mia, me. Now that's low. How low can you go? Do, 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 do. All right. Okay, so we have just explored our first vocal exercise. And I wonder how many of you have ever done vocal exercises before? These are great little warm-ups too. So if, let's say you know, 6 months from now or 2 weeks from now, you are getting gigs, you're a professional singer, and you go, oh crap, I wish I would have remembered that, what Tina went through in that vocal workshop. Oh wait, you can come back to this and you can pop to minute 37 or minute 34 and run some of these exercises. They're really great for warm-ups. In fact, I often do these in the car on a way to a gig. And it's have been super helpful for me in my career as a vocalist. Mm-hmm. Anybody have any questions? Feel free to pop them into the chat. I'm not sure which way the chat is. Oh, actually, I can click over and say, do, 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 do. I think it's that way. Okay, I'm being goofy now. I have another exercise to introduce to you and another concept to introduce to you. Now, we briefly touched on the idea of resonating bodies, finding these areas in our bodies that vibrate. So put your hand on your chest, upper chest, and do a little hum. Bring it low into the basement. See if you can feel that vibration, feeling tingly on your fingers. How about that? Okay, now put your hand on your throat and do the same thing. Now bring some different shapes to your face. This is going to look ridiculous. That's one of the reasons I didn't use Zoom for this, is because people they get distracted by seeing their own face on the video screen. I do when I'm on a Zoom, and I find Zoom to be kind of annoying. I get distracted by all those. So now you just have to look at me. Okay, so now this is your chance to make a fool of yourself. Nobody's watching you unless you're doing this in a room with someone else. And if you are, I want to know. Okay. Wow. Okay, so I'm noticing a little bit of moving around. I can feel vibration in there. Now let's move that up to the face and do the same thing. Wow. Whoa. I can feel some vibration in my jaw, and then even into these other bones in my skull. Now, try this now. Humming helps with this one, because when we hum, we make a little speaker of our head. So now take a little few moments and just go. Now I am feeling vibrations in my skull. This is so cool, folks. So where I'm getting at with this is that when we sing, we have these two little fleshy strips in our larynx called the vocal cords. And what happens when the air moves through them, they vibrate much faster than that, like that. And as we sing higher, they vibrate faster. And as we sing lower, they vibrate slower. But the idea is we want to be able to find those edges. So if we're la, we want to see how we can move through and enjoy all the aspects of the range. And maybe even past those comfort zones on one edge of the spectrum. Maybe if we're singing low, maybe we're going to go la. I think I'm going to bottom out there. But later on up here, we might, as we do these exercises, me, oh, me, oh, me, me, oh, me, oh, me, me, oh, me. I mean, it's really rare that we're going to sing that note, but you never know. The idea is, as we kind of explore those comfort zones and the ceilings of our ranges, then we become stronger in just slightly lower than that. So then we can start building a little bit more range all the time. Because if we have a vibrant range and a nice contrast, then we can access more to use when we want to express ourselves. It's pretty simple. Okay, so resonating bodies, getting back to that idea of resonating. So this next exercise sounds like this. It's a 2-part exercise. And the first part, we go step by step from the 1st degree up to the 5th, down to the 1st again, but we go like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, step by step. And then the second part of the exercise, we do it almost like we're sliding up and down. Okay, so as it's added together, those 2 parts, step by step, and then slidey slidey. Okay, here we go. So just listening for now. Yeah? Here it is one more time. Now, are you noticing? I'm getting a couple little yeps and low LOLs, but the chat is a little bit late as I'm recording, so I'm glad you're enjoying yourselves. Not sure what you're laughing at, but I hope it was. I'm sure when I look back at this video, I'll go, oh boy, you are a silly lady, Tina Jones. Okay, all right. Step by step, then sliding back up and down. This exercise is going to take a little bit more breath control as we go up and down. It's a little bit longer than the me. So this is going to bring a little bit more awareness around taking a nice deep breath. And then we're going to be getting to the bottom of the reserves of the lung capacity that we have left. So it's a really good exercise in making sure that you have some, just be cognizant of how much breath you have left. Because if you don't take a deep breath, you're just going to run out. And hey, it happens. And this sort of deeper breathing and kind of more conscious breath when we do these exercises in this setting, it's going to feel weird at first. Unless you've done singing lessons before, of course, and hopefully it doesn't feel too weird, because the idea is we want to incorporate this into our vocal practice, which is the key, so that we have more access to ease of expression. All right, so let's just sing a couple of these. 1, 2, 3, and keep going. Okay, I'm going to stop there. Hopefully this is all making sense to you and that you're able to find the most amount of breath and you're moving through effortlessly and there's no tension. So that's my hope. And if we've applied some of these aspects to this point, that's the idea. And I'm going to keep on saying them with lots of relaxation, moving the air. And I'm going to give you one more little tip as we move into the second half hour of our workshop, day 1. Now, I'm going to go back to where we started, the G below middle C. I'm going to sing this in a way that I will hope that you're not doing it, okay? This is hard for me because I've worked really hard to make this next tip like just a given, a no-brainer, not even have to think about it, okay? So this is how a lot of folks will sing, and I've seen it through my career and lessons and other people I've sang with and people you see on the internet and internets. Okay, this is what it might sound like. Pay attention to how my body might be set up. So all the notes are there, right? Sounded okay. Nothing wrong with it. But here's how I would do it if this was me doing this as part of a performance. So, did anybody notice any difference? I mean, obviously, I wasn't smiling because I was really concentrating on doing it the wrong way. Not necessarily the wrong way, but the whole area of this multifaceted space aspect, the spatial aspect of resonating bodies within the face and the skull. Okay, so see what happens? I go So this is manifold. This is a manifold aspect of singing, and this is the one that's been such a game changer for me as a professional, and that I've worked with people for many, many years. There is something about opening up these areas of resonation, so resonating bodies within our body, so the chest, the throat, the mouth, and then the nasal passages. Whew, I get so excited about this stuff. I'm so nerdy, and I'm totally owning it. I am such a nerd, you guys. That allows us to be an instrument of overtones and resonation. Okay, so let's say we're taking that G below middle C again. I'm going to do a silly little sort of throat singing, kind of like overtone singing aspect that you're going to maybe laugh at. It's going to sound really weird, but tell me if you can hear different notes, even though I'm only singing one note. Did you hear that? Even though I was singing la, that G, you could also hear those other, what are called overtones. It's math. It's a Pythagoras theorem, and I'm math impaired, so I'm not going to go into the actual numbers. But what happens is as we open up and allow for this resonation, all of a sudden the notes sing in a whole different way than if we were closed. It's I often use the analogy of the difference between singing in your bathroom. So how many of us sing in the shower? I do, always have. Sounds great in the shower, right? Think about the way the walls are. A lot of tile, a lot of mirror, a lot of not a lot of soft material. So what happens is the sound waves bounce around a lot, and they're really resonant. A bathroom is really resonant. Now, if you run into your closet and you sing into your closet, it's a bit more muffled. There's not a lot of resonation because there's all this soft area. I mean, ironically, in a recording studio, it's a lot softer, but that's only just because you want to be able to control for that. That's a whole other workshop. But the idea is we want to make our bodies be these beautiful resonating chambers. Last little aspect of this tip, resonating chambers. We want to have resonating bodies. As we engage some of these resonating bodies. What happens? Okay, so I want you to find your hard palate. You can find it with your tongue. Now I'm all ticklish on my palate. And then if you move just a little bit back in your throat, you get to that soft palate. It's where your nasal passages meet your throat, and where if you have like a nasty cold and you get like this postnasal drip, that kind of feeling back there, there's no other way to explain it. It's just where that kind of mucousy stuff happens. But as we bring some resonation and open up a little bit, and we engage the cheekbones. So you'll notice when I'm singing, I'm often smiling. A lot of people say, wow, you look like you're having so much fun. Well, I am. I love singing. There's no question. It's one of my favorite things in the whole wide world to do. It's what I'm here on this planet to do, it feels like. But if we bring that real joyful expression, what happens is our soft palate in the back of our throats lifts up a little bit, and it creates a little bit more of a resonating chamber. Less of a closet, more of a bathroom. I hope this is making sense. So the difference being, so a lot of people say, oh, it sounds louder. I didn't sing any louder. I just sang with overtones. I love overtones. They're the best. Okay, let's sing this exercise. Again, starting from this G, and then the sliding bit, 2, 3, and try that joyful expression. Holy moly. Soften up if you need to. But don't let go of that resonation. Whew. Gosh, when I stopped, like my whole room was still vibrating. That's what we want. We want to have all these rooms in our body vibrating. And then all of a sudden, what happens is the pressure is taken off of the vocal cords, off of this area right in here where there often is a lot of tension, right? We often hold a lot of tension in our shoulders and our throat. And what it does is it offloads when we can stay relaxed. And if you notice when I'm singing, I'm always moving around. And it's just something that happens naturally. It also helps me stay relaxed because I tend to get pretty good stress buildup in the shoulders. Who doesn't, right? So it offloads the responsibility of these tiny little vocal cords who can only do so much, right? If we have that beautiful grounded position with the feet on the floor for sitting, butt on the edge of your seat, really grounded, feeling that sense of the diaphragm holding and supporting by bringing in tons of air and pushing out tons of air, letting it really flow, that rib cage expanded, letting it really move. And if we need to, keeping it expanded. We'll talk a little bit more about that tomorrow. And then moving into these beautiful resonating bodies in the skull and the face and the nasal passages and stuff. I mean, we don't want to sing like this. We don't want to do that. But it's finding a balance. We also don't want to go, because it just goes right there. All I feel it is right in my throat, this tension. But if I go, yeah, so it brings this whole world of harmonic resonance to singing. And it is literally the game changer in singing expressively with ease. That's what it's all about. Okay, take a sip of water. We've only got about 10 more minutes left for today. This has been really fun. Okay, before I move on to the next bit, if you have any questions, feel free to pop them into the chat. if at the end of this you have more questions and burning questions that you just kind of feel like, I don't want to put it in the chat, this feels really weird, then you can by all means message me via Facebook. You can send me an email, tina@tinajonesmusic.com, or you can put something in the Facebook event, like all stuff. You can make a comment down below. There's lots of ways to get in touch. As I'm thinking about it, I wanted to let you know that I do have an online platform where I do pretty much 3 to 4 videos per month covering all this stuff and really deep dive into all the aspects of the voice via Patreon. And I will put a link down below if you're interested. It's for like $13 a month, and you get access to, I've been doing it for over a year now, and I have almost 40 videos. So if you're interested in learning more about this and you want to just sort of like take a little toe dip in, feel free to check that out. I do have, I from time to time I have space one-on-one to do singing lessons on Gabriola. I'm full right now, but maybe another day. Okay, next part of the idea around resonation. Now we kind of just went to like a mediocre range, okay, in this exercise. Let's start on the C, and we're gonna go ah. Did you see I set myself up? I went ah, and you don't have to make it joyful. You know, I've had some people that go, I don't know, like it's just so not cool or whatever. It doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be joyful. It can be ah, ah. I prefer to bring that element of joy and have joy be my number one intent by which I express myself musically and creatively. But that's just me. I think we need more joy in the world. Even when I'm singing a sad song, I like to bring joy to it. All right, let's do this one a couple more times. And as we go a little bit higher, we really want to engage that resonation. We're going to change to an E vowel sound. We're going to start with an ah. Ah. Join in with me. Here we go. Ah. Good. Ah. Soften up if you need to. Ah. Now we're going to switch to E. I'm going to stop. Okay. When we switch to E, we want more like a he. So we're not going to go E. Oh, Bella's going to sing too. We want a he. Bella, no. If you could see her, she's so goofy. She was just in a deep sleep. He. We don't want that hard beginning. We want a soft beginning for this exercise. In an actual song, we might use that, what's called a glottal stop. But in this, for the sake of keeping things nice and soft and nice and gentle for exercises and sort of exploring these areas in the body. He. Okay, let's keep going from there. 1, 2, ready, and he. Try to make it nice and tall. He. Imagine it going down in your body. Let's try one more. At some point, the E gets a little bit silly. But hey, these are all exercises. Nobody's listening. This is a safe space. That's what I try to tell people. when we're doing lessons one-on-one. Okay, how did that feel? Did you notice anything? Anything like happening? Like sometimes when I get a little higher, I feel a bit of tension in the back of my head. And I just noticed that. We don't need to put any good or bad on this stuff, right? Like these are just noticing sensations in the body. And that was the idea when we did the breathing exercise at the beginning, to kind of shift ourselves from any kind of like nervousness or, oh, I'm not sure if I can do this right. Or like when the inner critic is really strong, we're often in that sympathetic nervous system when we're, breathing shallowly and we're kind of feeling crappy and all that stuff. But, okay, reset, feet flat on the floor, butt on the edge of your seat. Maybe do a couple of head rolls. That helps me. And then take a couple deep breaths, with the out breath being longer than the in breath. And that's the key to switching into that parasympathetic nervous system that allows us to tap into more creative ways of expressing. Okay, nice deep breath. All right, and when we can switch our nervous systems, then we can be more aware. We can shine the light of awareness onto parts of our body where we might not have had any awareness before, or we might have just been a little bit kind of blind to them, like not blind because we don't see, but we feel. We might have just sort of blocked out those feelings. And that's what's tricky about the voice, is because it's inside our bodies. So we can talk a lot. I mean, I'm talking a lot about it because I'm looking at a camera on my computer and hoping that you folks are getting something out of this. So far in my 30 years of doing this, I've had a lot of great positive response. That's why I want to share it with more people. That if we are able to notice where there might be some tension, we can just take a deep breath and do a little bit to kind of get back into that less stressed, more rest. We want rest and digest, parasympathetic nervous system. Then we can be more creative. Then that sort of stops the inner critics a little bit. Not much, because they're going to be there. We all have them, right? We all have those little voices in our head that saying, you suck, and why are you bothering? Those little and we can talk about a little bit more about that tomorrow too. I find that if we can really get embodied about this stuff, then it really kind of starts to let those areas kind of drift away. Those weird inner criticky kind of ways that we stop ourselves from doing what we really want to do. And that is to sing expressively and easily. Okay. Quickly, I would like to do a thing where we just finish off. If we went, no, I think, that was the last note that we sang. That was high. Okay, we're going to go down an octave. So if we stopped on that E, we're going to go down here. E, same exercise and moving down. Okay? So we're going to do that just a few times, and then we're going to wrap it up for today. And if you have any questions, we can do a quick Q&A at the end here. If not, then we will finish off with a nice sigh together. But first of all, 1, 2, here we go. Don't forget all your relaxation. Resonating bodies, even though we're going low. Just move that air. One more. Now, I'm a soprano. I can sing way up there until the cows come home. It's this stuff in the low area and the low range that's really challenging for me. So I apply some of this overtone aspect in the areas that are challenging for me. So if I'm down here, if I wasn't to apply that resonating area, I just feel it right in my throat. It's rare that I'll sing that note, but it's kind of fun that I can get there in these kind of settings. Because later on when I'm singing this note down here, whoa, 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 I can really go for it because I can really vibrate my whole body. All right, let's all just take a second, shake it off a little bit, take a nice deep breath in. We're going to sigh it out and bring some relaxation. Okay, just to finish off. Sigh it out. Ah. If you're ever feeling tension in the vocal cords or anywhere in the body when we're doing singing stuff, take a moment, take a sip of water, take a sip of water, or do this a quick little sigh. Ah. And that is a really lovely reset so that we can kind of finish off, tie a nice little bow on what we've done today. So I want you to congratulate yourself on showing up for yourself, because that is a radical act in these days, because we often will do a lot for other people. So I hope that you get a chance to do some fun singing this afternoon, tonight, or anytime if you ever need to revisit this for some ideas, for a recap, or if you need some warm-ups, that's a fun thing to do. Don't forget, I also have that Patreon link if you want to check that out. I'll put it in the description. And this is part 1 of our Find Your Voice online vocal workshop. And it is brought to you, just in case you didn't catch this at the beginning, by the Nanaimo Foundation. And they gave me a really sweet grant through their Small Grants Program, Small Neighbourhood Grants. So big thanks to them. Big thanks to you folks for coming and joining in. It was really nice to have, I see this little icon on my screen that has an eyeball, and it says that there's people watching right now, which is just warms the cockles of my heart. So I wish all of you all the best, and I hope that we can all continue to sing with as much ease as possible, and then that really, really does translate to being as expressive as possible. Thank you, Kat. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. And, that's wonderful. Thanks, Trina. That's lovely to hear that it was an hour well spent. And tomorrow, tune in, same time. There's the link for tomorrow's is in the description from 2 p.m. And I look forward to seeing the little eyeball icon with you tuning in tomorrow. Can't wait. Lots of love. Take good care out there and enjoy the rest of your day. Okay. Mwah.